Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to South Africa.
It's a real pleasure to be here.
You had a lecture on Thursday night. How did that go?
It went rather well, as we'd say. I thought it was very well received. I think people were generous. But actually, more importantly, I liked the way they listened. There was a kind of an intense listening. And that raises the quality of what you're saying, actually, because half of the importance of what you're saying is the depth of the listening.
We were talking when we were arranging this interview, and we were told you were still busy with your speech, before the lecture. How difficult was that, and what space did you need to be in for people to listen and hear what you're saying?
I think the speech for me was a very important one. One does not come to South Africa to give an unimportant speech. Coming here, being invited to talk here, keys you up. It compels you to sort of be at the height of your powers. And I think it's because of the strength of your history and the strength of the way in which you've affected us all over the world, especially the rest of Africa. So we don't feel coming here that you're going to come here and give a frivolous talk. Yeah. And I had to prepare myself very seriously. And I felt the need to address a wide range of subjects that are of importance to us in Africa at this moment, and particularly South Africa. And for me, the really key theme was the theme of renewal. The promise of African greatness, which I've always sensed, and for me, has always been there. But we need to bring it out more and make it felt in the world. Because I feel that most of the world have played their game. They've played their cards. They have revealed their genius. I think when we reveal our genius in its fullness, we will change the nature of the world. I believe that very strongly. In literature, in architecture, in business, in culture, in politics. I believe when the African genius realizes itself fully, the world will be a different place.
Isn't the big question then how?
The how is an important question, and I think it's been addressed as we speak. The how is education. The how is the way in which we change our thinking, the way in which we take the roof from our thinking, the way in which we free our thinking, the way in which we actually rise to our place in the world. Not say that our place is here, small like this, but that our place is as big as we can dream it. That's what I wanted to achieve in my speech, to just remind people that actually we are as great as we want to be. We are the only people who are limiting our possibilities. And so this greatness, this achievement, this possibility has to take place here first. We have to open there. Yeah? We have to free ourselves of our preconceptions, the way in which we perceive our history, and what it means, what it really means to step onto the stage.
You just celebrated your birthday just last month.
Yes, you're not supposed to know that.
How big are you on birthdays? I mean, 56 years old is an achievement.
I don't think of birthdays. I don't think of my life in terms of years. I think of my life in terms of deeds. I think of my life in terms of the books I write, the stories I write, the poems I write. If I write a good line, for me that's a good birthday. If I shape a book, the last book, my most recent book, is a book called The Age of Magic. I've been working on shaping this book for more than 10 years. So it's a short book, but it's packed with ideas and with stories. And it took me time to shape it, to get it, every sentence the way I wanted it. When I put a full stop to a book like that, that is a great birthday. So I see my birthday in terms of the realization of my dreams. The years I feel as young as I was when I began writing.
Let's go back to the birthday issues, and I want to take you back to your household.
Yeah.
You know, the Okri household, and
Yeah.
what birthdays were. What are some of the biggest memories that come when you think about growing up and the household that you grew up in?
I mean, back in Nigeria when I was a kid. Birthdays were always a surprise. It was customary that you forgot your birthday, but everybody else remembered it. My mum was very big on birthdays. She would cook something very special for you. Each one of my brothers and sisters had a dish that was their secret dish, their secret delight. When you wake up on a birthday, say when you're about 7 or 8, and you will smell, from your awakening, from the pillow, you will smell this wonderful aroma of your favorite dish being prepared by mom. Yeah. That's when you know that it's a special day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mom was a storyteller.
My mother was a great storyteller.
What made her such a great storyteller, though?
I don't know. I think it was the way she saw the world. Mm-hmm. And she saw the world in a very, I use the word elliptical, enigmatic way. And I think maybe one of my greatest gifts was the way in which she told me stories. I was a very stubborn kid. And I think my mom worked out that for a stubborn child like me, you don't tell him anything directly. Right. You don't say, Ben, don't do that, because it would just make me want to do it more. So what she did was she would tell me a story in which that thing in which I was not supposed to do featured in it, but in a very indirect way. Yeah. And the story sometimes wouldn't be finished. And I would spend months, sometimes years, trying to work out the meaning of this very strange story that Mom had told me. It had 3 effects. 1, I wouldn't do that thing because I'd be thinking about the meaning of the story. Yeah. 2, I became aware of the way in which stories were the best ways of making you think. 3, I became aware that stories, when they're told at interesting, odd, strange, fractured angles, actually affect you much more powerfully. Mm-hmm. So when I came to write, that's what I wanted to achieve. The way in which you tell a story so that it puts a pressure on the reader. It puts a tremendous pressure of interpretation on the reader. Because that's what Mom did to me. She put on me a tremendous pressure of interpretation, of a desire to understand something. It made me anxious, actually. I was like, what did Mom mean by that? I was very, very anxious. And that anxiety was very creative, because it made me think more than just about the one thing she was telling me about.
And of course, the second part of that